Hi, this is Daniela Wolf with Bestie Life, the podcast, and this is your community to support you through the little and not so little events that make up your day-to-day life. From the I've got this moments to the I just can't moments. We are here to empower all women to find and develop the skills they need to find peace, balance, and the bliss in their busy. Through solo episodes as well as interviews with amazing women who share their journey and their story and how it works for you. I hope you find the inspirations to make you laugh, think, as well as maybe rethink what you thought you knew, and connect as we realize that we are all living similar ups and downs and don't have to do it alone. So excited for you to hear this episode, and thanks so much for joining me today. Hi, this is Daniela with Bestie Life, the podcast. I want to talk about something that kind of stopped me in my tracks the other day. I was listening to another podcast, and the guest that was on was talking about the fact that we are in what she called a trust recession. And honestly, that really hit me. I hadn't heard that term before, but the more I thought about it, and then I started to dive in and do a little bit of research, because that's how I operate, and I love to find out more information about stuff. It's actually a term that's been around for a while, but as I thought about it and looked around at how we're interacting, especially online, I could totally relate to it. I could totally feel it. People are guarded. I'm guarded. When someone maybe slides into your DM with a message that doesn't sound aligned or genuine in some ways, they're skeptical. They're wondering, okay, when's the other shoe going to drop? What are they here for? And they're just exhausted by being pitched, promised, and even at times let down. And the whole point of, being on social media, going to networking events is, I don't know about you, but I'm really trying to build real relationships, both in life and in business. When it comes to our lives and how I want to look back on it, these are the things that matter to me a lot, having these relationships. So I want to dive into this term of a trust recession in this episode, and how it's showing up in our relationships, and why I really truly believe, in building real relationships, talking to someone face to face or even screen to screen. I offer a lot of free coaching calls specifically for this reason, just because I really am so invested in wanting to build these relationships, getting to know each other, and really building those connections. So let's dive into this. So grab your favorite beverage, grab a pen and some paper, because this is going to have a lot of information in it, but let's really dive into this. So breaking down, what is a trust recession? When you break down the words themselves, a recession financially is when, people pull back, things shrink. We hold on to our resources instead of spending our money, in that case, freely. Now imagine that same idea, but with trust. So instead of giving people the benefit of the doubt, we wait. Instead of maybe opening up and sharing, we play it safe, we're guarded. And instead of assuming that people have good intentions, we assume the worst and we prepare for disappointment. Why? Because we've been burned. I've been burned before, relationships, in investments and things like that. And when we've been oversold and underdelivered, it makes us cautious. And that makes total sense. Our brains are wired to protect us. But here's the downside. When trust is low, our connections suffer. Our relationships suffer. We can't build strong relationships without having that trust, whether it's from a friend, a coach, a partner, a spouse, a coworker. When trust is missing, it's like trying to build a house on quicksand. It's just going to keep falling apart. So how does this trust recession actually play out in our day-to-day lives? Well, I don't know about you, but some of the things I've noticed, and whether it's with me or people I'm working with or friends, just as how we're talking, people are hesitating to ask for help, even when they really need it, because they worry about being judged or being sold to. We think as soon as we show one piece of vulnerability, someone's going to capitalize on it. Someone's going to take advantage of it in a way that's not going to be in our best interest. Online, I don't know about you, but I'm constantly scanning for red flags. We don't read maybe all the way through posts, or we just kind of skim and side-eye things. We're always just kind of thinking that, it's not genuine. As well as we can be maybe quick to unfollow or disengage if someone feels too salesy, even if they're genuinely trying to help. And so it's not just about business though. Like I said, it can show up in our friendships too, maybe in parenting groups, in the workplace. We're just a little bit more distant, a little bit less trusting, and more likely to keep our walls up. And you know what? That can be really isolating. That can be really lonely, especially when, as humans, we're wired to have these connections, to crave them. But we've made it harder for us to get there. And we've turned trust into a luxury instead of something that we have by default. And this is one of the reasons, like I said, I really lead hard into having actual conversations with people. I love to offer free coaching calls, not just help you solve that problem, but to really get to know you. I'm not looking to try and sell things when I do these coaching calls, because I really believe in creating those relationships, that is what is part of essential to who I am at the core. And while yes, I write posts, I share just words online and create different tools and tips, none of that really compares to sitting across from someone, even virtually or in real life, and just talking. This reminded me of back when I was single before I was married again, and I was on a dating site and I had met someone and we were texting back and forth for a little while, and the text seems to really connect. He really seemed, like we would have a lot in common. So we got together and we met, and I got to tell you, I don't know how long it took him to write the text messages, but the conversation in person didn't flow the same way that the words online did. It was like I was meeting a totally different person. So I don't know if someone helped him write them or whatnot, and it really reminded me of the fact that, like I said, while we can get to know people through words, through emails and that type of thing, nothing really can replace that genuine, real connection. Even when I record my podcast episodes with guests, we record them on Zoom where we can see each other's faces. We can have that nonverbal. We can smile. We can laugh at each other, those types of things, and really still have that genuine conversation, because there's all those other elements brought into it than just hearing someone's words or reading someone's words and things like that. And just because a lot of times when you hear someone's voice, when you can ask questions and get answers and see a real human, that's where a lot of that trust begins. That's where it can go from, oh, they seem cool, or I feel like they get me, to really knowing, holy cow, we're totally in sync, we're totally in line, and help to start to shift your perspective from maybe some skepticism to that connection. And yeah, I know the fear that some people have. I've had it myself that, oh, if I book a free call, I'm going to get sold to. It's just going to be one long sales pitch. And like I said, I get it. I've been on those types of calls, the one where you feel like you're being pushed into something you're not ready for. And that's not how I work at all. My free coaching calls are not sales traps. They're conversations. I'm here to genuinely serve and help you find an option to solve some of the problems that you're having, some of the obstacles that are getting in the way from you finding that work-life harmony, from feeling like you have some control over your day. So when we chat, we're going to talk about, what's going on? What does your day really look like? What are you struggling with? What do you want instead? What do you want it to look like? And if it feels like we'd be a good fit, great. And if not, you're still going to walk away with at least one or two actionable steps, some clarity, and just some support of knowing you're not alone. Because for me, coaching isn't about transactions. It's about the transformation, and the trust is going to be that bridge that gets us there. So if you've been feeling the weight of this trust recession and you're tired of kind of superficial, shallow interactions and hungry for some real connection, I want to invite you to do something a little bold. I want you to reach out, start a conversation with me, book that free coaching call. Let's not let the fear of being, quote, sold to keep us from being seen and being vulnerable with each other and creating those connections. You can read my posts all day, but trust is going to be built in real time. I know that. It's built through eye contact, laughter, honesty, just those Me Too moments of like, oh my gosh, we've been through so many similar things. And it's amazing. Every time I talk to somebody new, I find out how much we are all more alike than we realize. And, we're all in this together. And so I'd love to be in that kind of space with you. No pressure, no pitch, just a real conversation. The link is in the show notes. It's on my link in bio as well as on my website if you're curious. And if this episode resonated, send it to a friend who might need a reminder that trust isn't gone. It might just take a little bit more time and intention to grow it again. If you have any questions, please reach out to me, as well as share this so that it can reach more listeners and help more people get the support they need. Thanks so much for listening, and I'll talk to you soon. Thanks so much again for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Please let me know any questions or comments that you have. Also, if you can please leave an Apple 5-star review so that this episode can be shared with more women. There's 2 quotes that I love. Alone we may be strong, but together we are stronger, as well as when women support each other, incredible things happen. So let's be stronger and incredible together, as well as maybe just have some fun along the way. Thanks so much and talk to you soon. Bye.